guys, how's it going? So today I have a few things I want to do out here in the cut flower garden. I want to harvest some flowers, some gorgeous statice. Can you see those right there? They're so beautiful. I'd like to build a flower drying rack for our cut flower shed and then possibly make a wreath with the statice. So I've grown this flower before, but not ever from seed to harvest. I've always started with a plant that's already pre-grown by somebody else. So this has been really satisfying and it's so easy. This plant is incredibly easy to grow and they are wonderful for dried flower arrangements because they maintain their color. Isn't that awesome? So I want to say that I started with a packet or two of seeds from Botanical Interest called, I think, Cotton Candy Blend. I would have to probably look back to see. I know I used up all the seeds that I had and it was just a blend. So these don't have like a precise name, each one of these colors. Because this was such an easy thing to grow and I've enjoyed it so much, I've actually ordered a bunch of other varieties to start next year, different specific colors like some apricot colors and that sort of thing, so I have a little bit more variety. But you do have to make sure to harvest these at the right time in order to get the best color from them. Now, did I just mention that we are harvesting these flowers at the exact wrong time of day? It's the middle of the afternoon, it's pretty hot. Best time to harvest flowers is first thing in the morning in the cool of the day. I mean, it's easier on us and it's less shock on the plant, but this is the chance we have to do it, so we're just gonna get it done. When we cut our flowers, even though we're gonna be using them as dried accents, we are going to put them in some fresh water first. So we'll let the flowers condition for a little while. So it's just letting them sit in water, draw it up. It kind of helps maintain a fresher color. There is actual conditioning fluid you can use. I've never used it before, but I know a lot of people swear by it. It helps keep a more vibrant color and fresher look for your plants. Maybe I should try a side-by-side comparison, but it's just a good idea to let them sit for a little while. Some people will let them sit like 12 hours in the water in a really cool spot before they use them or hang them to dry. Today we're just going to let them sit for a couple hours while we make our flower drying rack, and then we'll do our projects. Okay, so I'm just going to get all these stems cut and then we'll move on to our next project. Oh my goodness, you guys, isn't this the most gorgeous gator full of flowers you've ever seen? They are so beautiful. Pretty much laid waste to our little section over here. There are several that are still in bud stage, so I left those. You can see that nice little patch there. And there's a lot of them that are sending up brand new stems right here. So I kind of tried my best to leave what wasn't ready. Got one more little section to harvest right over here. Okay, we got all of the statice cut. I put it in the root cellar so it could sit in the water in the really cool, it's like 42 degrees in there. So those flowers, they could keep in there for just like ever if I left them in there. So now we're standing in the back 40 of the new property where we have all of this really kind of like overgrown area. It's right around an irrigation ditch. So all this stuff just grows naturally. And I thought we could cut a few branches out and then make just like a little grid, branch grid that we could hang from the ceiling so that we could hang bunches of flowers from that. That's the plan anyway. For point of reference, our house is over there. There's the Hartley. I think we can see that popping through the trees there. And then this is the back of the new property. It's really quite pretty back here. We don't plan on doing anything to alter this area. I mean, we might plant a few things in front of it, like on purpose, some, maybe some bigger evergreens, things like that. But in terms of all of these beautiful shrubs and things that have come up, they're willows. These are all willows here. They're pretty in the fall, and there's some Russian olives. It looks like there's some old poplars. Maybe they had a line of poplars back here at one time. And it looks like some quaking aspens in here. There is an elm, which is not the best, but anyway, nice and natural. I see you over there, Aaron. He's rooting around in the back corner. Okay, let's see what we can find. I was kind of, oh, we've got like gopher activity over here too. I was thinking maybe we could get some stuff that was already dead. And this thing doesn't need to be very big. Oh, you guys, it stinks back here. Aaron's grass from the lawn. He's been putting it over here. There's some Virginia creeper right here, and if you look over it, you hear that? See that water going through? Love that. I'm not sure I can actually get to that without pull pruners, because the land, it goes down right here. The land goes down pretty sharply, and then that tree's coming up like, I don't know, let's see. I don't want to get too deep into this area either, because we have a lot of skunks in this area, and I'm fairly certain they live back here somewhere. Yeah, so the property that connects to this one has a ton of trees on it. It's got to be irrigated somehow, because it's got all of the growth. It's very like thick, and I think they've got some pathways through it. And on a very rare occasion, I hear like a four-wheeler or something like that. We have a walnut tree. We have a walnut tree, Aaron, right here.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. Cool. Also, they have horses on it, but it's so thick that it's perfect for other types of wildlife. Okay, please don't let there be any skunks in here. Yeah, oh, that is so cool. So basically, what we own is everything on this side of the ditch, and the ditch is on the back side of that walnut tree. Oh, you know what, Aaron? Our kids are gonna love this area.
Yeah.
They will love it. We should clear out just like a little space right here. It could be like a little magical fort area.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so I'm just gonna get the loppers and start cutting some branches. Hopefully we find some good ones, and we'll take them, oh geez, I'm getting grass in my shoes. We'll take them back to the cut flower shed, and that's where we will do our assembly. So here we are in the cut flower shed. I've got my first big branch right here. I chose this one because it's got a nice size diameter and it's fairly straight. And what I'm thinking of doing is a rack that goes right between these two hutches. I was considering doing one, and I might still add one over here, but it's gonna have to be high enough to where the flowers aren't in a whole bunch of sunshine, because that can kind of bleach out the color of the flowers. So I was thinking right here for now. I won't be able to hang a tremendous amount, but it's a good start. And I think it'll look really cute right there to have some flowers right behind, like right as the centerpiece in this area. And you guys, check it out. The orchard's being watered right now. We're gonna seed it here pretty soon. And it's pretty cool in here. I've got fans on either side oscillating. This is how I'm gonna be putting my grid together. I'm just using twine at the corners and the junctions. And then I will find a couple of eye screws to put in the ceiling, I think. So let's do it. Guys, it's actually a new day. We had to take a break from the project because we had to go get proper hardware to hang this thing. So I started by using one of these right here, and then I didn't hit a stud, and it's just drywall, you know, up here on the ceiling, and so this is not going to hold that up, especially once we get a little bit of weight on it. So We Googled how to properly hang weight-bearing things from the ceiling, and we went and got some toggle bolts. So that's what I'm gonna install today, and hopefully get this thing hung up, and then we'll get some flowers drying on it. I don't think we'll make it to the actual wreath making project, but if we can get some hanging in here, that'd be awesome. Also, we did decide not to hang it right here, but to hang it here instead. So I'll hang it quite high, so that, you know, the bulk of the flowers will hopefully be out of the sun. It's okay if they are a little bit, because you know what, this is the orchard out here. You know, there are orchard trees that will grow, so eventually this side will be quite shaded. And this right here is the top, so we won't see that side, we will see the bottom side right here. I think it looks really cool and rustic and fun. So anyway, the toggle bolts are these. So how it works is you drill a pilot hole, it's kind of quite large, and then this thing, hold on, I gotta get this, there we go. This screw goes through here like this, and then you push this thing up through the hole that you've drilled, and then this releases and holds itself, you know, on top of the drywall, and then the rest of this can go in. But I'm going to swap this for this, so we have a little hook to tie onto. That's the goal. So I've got my bits and my drill and a tape measure. It actually doesn't make me nervous to put holes in the ceiling. You know, when I was down at the garden center, I put tons of holes in the ceiling. We did a quilt show once where we hung like 120 some quilts, or maybe it was 130 in the store. You guys have seen that store. It's not massive. And we managed to get that many quilts hung from the ceiling, and we used bamboo like stakes, tree stakes, or those like big sturdy green stakes, and we would, you know, put the quilt over the edge and pin it to the stake, and then fishing line on the ends of the stake and up to the ceiling. And those king size quilts, let me tell you what, when you're on top of a ladder, really tall ladder with a king size quilt, so much weight. So anyway, the whole like putting holes in the ceiling doesn't bother me. I just don't want to have to put multiples in the ceiling. I want this to be as even as possible. So I'm going to try to measure and do my best in that regard. Anyway, let's get this project done. Oh, I think that's gonna work perfectly. It feels super solid. So I did have to drill a 1/2-inch hole in order to get that little spring thing up in there. So I can just patch that hole, paint it white, and paint the hook white while I'm at it, and it will mask the whole thing. Okay, so I just need to do that 3 more times after I measure twice on each one of them. Oh my goodness, you guys, it worked out perfectly. Now I'll be able to raise or lower it depending on, you know, what I'm drawing, but I think the height, having it way up higher than the windows, will be perfect. And once we get our flowers on there, you won't, I don't know, it's just gonna fill up the space beautifully. And the way we hung it is just perfect. It works out beautifully. I did have to drill bigger holes, but honestly, like, once things are hung, I don't really even notice the infrastructure of it, especially once I patch them and paint it up there, which I'll probably do, I don't know, probably not today. But I want to get some flowers hung on it. So I brought 1 bucket of the Statice out. The rest is chilling in the root cellar right now, and they're just so pretty. So I'm going to bundle these up and get them hung. I've got some different wires and things, so I'm going to figure out the best way I like to hang them. There's also some more twine, so I don't think it really matters. Let's do it. Look at how cute that is. Oh my goodness. Oh, so much fun. You guys, I think this is so cute. I love it. So standing outside the flower shed, walking in, like that is what you should see when you walk into a flower shed. And the flowers are plenty high. Like I could even come down a little bit with them, but it's very nice that I've got extra space just in case I've got something that's longer, or I want to keep the stems longer and I can keep it up out of the light, out of the direct light anyway. This is a really bright room. In fact, you can see I don't even have the lights on in here. I didn't even think about turning on the lights. Isn't it fun that you can just go out and gather some branches? Like you wouldn't need a big brushy area to gather those branches. It was just 2 longer ones. I did 5 shorter ones to kind of make our ladder, and then I did a cross in between each ladder section, and then just a few little willow branches that I weaved through. And it's all held together by string. Nothing fancy, nothing special. And the only tool you need is something to cut the branches. And then with the status, I just put together the individual bundles. When you do that, really when you're drawing anything, you want to make sure to tie them as tight as you can without breaking the stems. Because as they dry, they will desiccate, they will shrink and shrivel up a little bit. And if they're not tied tight enough, then they can start falling out. Like they'll start falling out of their bundles, and you don't want to have that happen. So I tied them pretty tight with the twine. And then I used pieces of rubber coated twine, or I had a couple of pieces of metal that I shaped into S-hooks. I'm going to actually pick up more S-hooks down at the garden center. They're just, little pieces of metal shaped like that, so you can, easily, take them on and off. So I think that would be really nice, but it was just so simple. Now I kind of want one on the other side. It would look awesome to have one right here too. Really. Ugh. And then of course, when it's status that you're drawing, you can't really do much better for color. I think that's just so beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. I have buckets and buckets and tubs full of status left in the root cellar, so it's likely I'll just leave this up and use it if I want to, but just leave it up because it's gorgeous. I mean, that's a beautiful, just like, it's better than putting a picture up on the wall. I love it. So we will be back to make some status wreaths. I might even see if my mom wants to get in on that because it's a pretty chill project and she wouldn't have to do much moving, with her legs. So I'll see what she thinks about that, but we'll probably do that project, either both of us or just me, in the next little bit, because I do want to put the wreaths together when they're still fresh because they're much easier to manipulate. So that is what my plan is. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it interesting. I mean, just putting together a simple drawing rack to really fit your space. If you need it to be smaller or bigger or whatever, you could absolutely just scale it to whatever size space you have. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.